You're listening to Lore Friendly with Chris Takahashi and Alice Bell, and our special guest today, Ronja Monto.
Hello.
You remember from a couple weeks ago, and also from all over YouTube, because she has over 7,000 subscribers and a great following.
We have a proper celebrity on the podcast.
Yes, we do.
Oh god, I get like 1/7 of views of that subscriber base because YouTube is broken. But yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, but in theory, you have that audience.
Yeah, in theory.
Statistics-wise.
Yeah, well, it's just that when you subscribe to something, you never really get spammed with notifications, so you never unsubscribe. So that number is a bit inflated because there's people who subscribe and never come back again. But I like having that number inflated. Helps our ego. It's our e-peen.
It is.
It's a nice gesture. It's just like a symbolic... We're kind of interested.
We're interested
Kind
in
of.
theory.
Enough to press a button.
Well, I mean, if I'm feeling sad, I'll just go into my YouTube channel and look at that number and ignore all the actual evidence.
I actually have a framed picture.
Oh, good idea. I should do that.
Yeah.
How often do you have to change it, Chris?
Every day, actually.
Really? Are we actually growing?
Yeah, we get like 1 or 2 new subscribers every day.
That's amazing.
That's just all my alts.
Oh, that's true.
Sorry.
It's you and Kevin Durant. That joke will go over your head because you do not watch basketball. But
No, I don't.
But sports has kind of intersected into like popular news. I mean, because Donald Trump, right?
Is he?
He's tweeting at sports people.
Oh, I've been refusing to check the news recently. It's too depressing.
I mean, we had that segment that proved that Fallout in general is
yeah.
just a documentary, but yeah, we are actually
great.
on
I
the
know,
brink of
it's-
nuclear war.
I mean,
Well, not
it's
really,
absolutely
yeah.
terrifying. Nothing like this has ever happened in at least my lifetime that I can remember.
It's very Cold War-esque. I mean, the Fallout series is kind of based on a lot of that Cold War fear and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Communism and all that, yeah. So
Better
it's-
just start to stock up on canned food and gas masks and really cool post-apocalyptic fashion.
Yeah. You're worried about all the right things, obviously. The fashion.
Yes, fashion. That's number
The fashion
one.
has to be like well up there.
Clothes first, water second.
Yes, yes.
I'm glad you have your priorities straight.
Like, looking good is like the number one priority in the nuclear apocalypse because,
Well-
I mean, your skin might all be burnt off, but hey, you can rock that skin.
Yes, exactly.
Did you guys ever have to like make an emergency like pack for school?
A what?
Like, you know, like you have drills at school, like if in case of like an emergency, like I remember like in 4th grade or 5th grade, we actually had to bring an emergency pack of supplies
What?
to school as part of the drill.
Is this like in case of a school shooting, for example?
Yeah, no, in case of like an earthquake or something and you got caved in and you needed like water and food. And...
Chris, I live in Finland. We don't have earthquakes in Finland.
We
I'm
have
just
fire
saying.
drills.
I'm just imagining a 10-year-old Ronja and Alice with like lipstick and makeup in their packs. And
Perfect.
here I am with my chocolate and my water and my other essentials, but yeah, and my Asian bowl haircut because that's what I had. I was rocking my
It's so
Asian
cute.
bowl haircut.
No, I'll be honest. I was a very, very ugly child, so my pack would probably be like
Oh no.
chocolate.
A mask.
That's it. Yes, a mask, a bag over my head, and some chocolate. That's it.
Yeah, I was not an attractive kid. I mean, I was not an attractive 18-year-old, if you want to check my Twitter. But, yeah, no, yeah.
No, you're
I'd still pack loads of makeup.
Oh, me
That's
too.
That's all you
but
need.
that's because I'm ugly without it. But I mean, when I was 10, I didn't
No.
use any makeup at all, so I was.
Yeah.
People actually could see that I was ugly.
no. All you need is the chocolate because that's what you use to like bribe the other kids for their stuff. So
Plus, like, brown lipstick's really in at the minute, so you could just use chocolate, and it tastes good.
Oh, clever.
Multitasking.
also like lipstick might be good because you'd be like looking so good, like all the other girls would like they'd want some of your lipstick. You say, hey, you can borrow it for all your water.
It starts to sound like Orange is the New Black. like prison.
Well, it is. I mean,
change
you're
my-
trapped inside.
True, because of an earthquake in Finland.
The other news I wanted to talk to you about is our ongoing series on crazy people.
Great!
This week's entry comes from New Mexico. A New Mexico man is facing charges after police say he randomly slapped a customer and then stole the man's green chili cheeseburger before dashing away.
I like where this is going.
Santa Fe police arrested 25-year-old Anthony Frazier on Sunday near the Shake Foundation, where authorities say the bizarre attack occurred. But here's the thing. The victim says Frazier walked up to him to dance, then slapped him across the face before stealing his green chili cheeseburger and running from the scene. Witnesses also say Frazier had a belt around his neck. A belt on his neck.
That's fantastic.
This man is my hero. I mean, how high was he? And on what?
So many questions. First of all, why the dance? Is it like a distraction?
I think so.
Like-
I mean, it seems like he was...
He sounds like a high-level bard.
Is that like casting confuse on his
yeah.
victim?
You know, like in Dungeons and Dragons, when the bard gets to do a little distracting dance and song number while the others attack.
Well, but then why the slap? Was it not working?
I guess the slap was to, you know, the killing blow or something.
Yeah, like you do your bonus action to like distract them, and then you use your actual action to like slap them.
See, because like I figure if you had him distracted enough, you know, with your little like booty shake or whatever, you could like, you know, deftly grab the cheeseburger and just like hide it under your shirt or something. I
mean, you might as well injure the enemy whilst you're at it.
Yeah. But I mean, he must have been...
2 birds, 1 stone.
This sounds like it comes from experience, Alice.
Not quite.
He must have been really hungry or just really, really, really wanted a cheeseburger.
Here's the last bit. It was not known if he had an attorney. An attorney. Chances are I'd say no.
Probably not.
Matthew Murdoch is not walking through that door.
But wouldn't that be exactly the kind of case that he would take?
Oh, you know what? You're probably right.
The hamburger incident.
The real life hamburger, yeah.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I completely forgot what I was going to say. I was just making a noise into the microphone, apparently.
Oh, okay. I do that sometimes too.
Just like that.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah, just like
No.
that.
Oh, just...
Are you okay?
That's the Mario sound. When you get the mushroom.
Oh, is it?
I prefer the plink.
Okay. When you hit the block.
When you get the coins.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get the coins, when you run into the coins,
Yeah.
it goes ba-ding! To be fair, I've never been great at console gaming. Like, I struggle to get past the first world on Mario still. But that's
PC
just because I'm a
Master Race.
terrible gamer. It's just so much
It
easier
is, yeah.
with a keyboard.
The last piece of news, moving on. Harambe. He got replaced.
You got replaced.
Oh, I can hear your heart breaking.
With a new Harambe?
Yeah, a new gorilla is making himself at home at the Cincinnati Zoo. The zoo recently added a 29-year-old Western Lowland silverback gorilla named Mashindi
Nobody can ever replace
from the
him.
Louisville Zoo.
It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Sounds like a
Mashindi?
female.
Hashtag not my gorilla. How can you just replace Harambe? Can't do that.
Never forget. Remember what was the date that this news came out?
I don't know. I've already
Yeah, I
forgotten.
mean, the only reason Harambe became
Oh,
such a big thing was because the zoo told the internet, please don't do that. And the internet was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Dicks out.
I can't hear you.
Dicks out.
Dicks out for Harambe. Mm.
Yeah.
Basically, with the internet, you just need to use reverse
Exactly.
Pretty
psychology.
much.
Just like, okay, so we really,
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
really want you to get your dicks out. Okay? That's all we
The
want.
second some companies start to use a meme or whatever, the meme dies because it's no longer fun.
Yeah.
So they should have embraced it.
Yeah,
Such as the
it's
internet.
weird that like memes are pretty much in every part of news now.
Mm.
So
we got that
weird.
whole dotard thing, which is now like a popular word.
What?
Which I thought was pretty crazy to learn an English word from a North Korean dictator. That's one thing I never thought would happen to me in my life.
He must have Googled it or
Yeah.
something. Looked in a dictionary for it.
Yeah.
Is that never heard?
It's
But
just such a fantastic
It
word.
is.
Yeah.
I'm going to start integrating that into my everyday vocabulary.
So I was speaking to this daughter the other day.
In politics, you often do.
I do find it quite... Have you ever... in Parliament, there's a lot of kind of language that's banned in the UK Parliament that you're not allowed to use. And, like, if you bring it up in a debate and insult another member of Parliament, then they'll get called out by the Speaker and be asked to retract statements. So the best thing is when members of Parliament are trying to debate something and, like, make jabs at other people and things like that. I think my favourite one was... there's an MP who called the Prime Minister a lying... who said... One second. He said that half... he said that half of the people on the other side of the bench are filthy liars, or something like that. And he was asked to retract that statement by the Speaker. So he said, okay, half the people on that side of the Parliament aren't filthy liars.
Nice. That is very
It's
clever.
very British and very proper.
Yeah, it's very clever.
Very.
Just looking at a debate as something really controversial, it's just fantastic because you get the most creative insults.
That's the kind of clever statement that after we finish recording, I would put in to make myself sound smart. So, mods this week.
Shit, I forgot to choose a mod.
No, it's okay.
Bollocks.
The mod we're going to cover this week is the new Creation Club mod. It is a Doom armor for the player.
Okay.
Have you guys seen it? Wait, let me find the link.
I don't know if you've realised, Chris, but I still don't own Fallout 4.
Okay.
I own
Just
it,
pretend
but
you do.
I don't have time to play it. It's really sad, but...
I just can't run it.
Oh.
My computer is ancient, the poor thing.
Oh, that's such a shame.
I know. I can't upgrade it because it's a laptop.
Oh.
It's basically just Doom armor. Anyways, it's currently 400 Bethesda bucks. What is it? Credits? Do they call them? I forget.
I think so, yeah.
So that's like $4, I think, for an armor. But
Okay.
yeah, the the reason I find this
I
game...
appreciate the torso window on both sets of
That's-
armor. Like, equal opportunity objectification, yes,
Yeah.
please.
Why do they have the plastic muscles on it? Like, yeah, anyways. It's the 1980s, right?
Uh-huh.
Doom was popular in the 1980s, so like this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, the Romans also put muscles on their breastplate.
It was more of a, like, decorative thing, though.
Yeah.
I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, probably.
The reason I want to highlight this... oh, go ahead, Alice. Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
That was just my phone making a noise in the background,
Okay.
telling me to shut up.
I think it's interesting that, like, if you had a game and if you wanted to promote it, like, let's say you had an indie game or something really small, like, what better way than to make an armor? Like, Bethesda owns Doom, I think, right? So this is kind of, like, within house.
Yeah.
But I think, like, this would be a good way to advertise. Like, if you had a small game or something you wanted to promote it, like, you could put it on, like, the front page of Fallout 4. Not that Fallout 4 is, like, a hugely popular game, but it's pretty popular.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point,
Anyways.
but I was just thinking, how does this work with copyright and stuff if they're making money out of it? To who does the money go? Does it go to the one who made the mod, or does it go to Bethesda?
I have no idea. I'm not part of the Creation Club.
No, me neither. I've actually made absolutely no research into the Creation Club, so...
Yeah. We should
Did your
ask
Meridia's
Unoctium.
Bacon mod not get accepted?
No, it didn't.
What?
Rejection.
Yeah.
Disgrace.
Oh.
I'm used to it. Story of my life. But if you were like trying to promote, like do some cross promotion, like if you're CD Projekt and you're trying to promote Witcher 3 or something, you could like add like Witcher armor to the Creation Club.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And do it like
It's like
that.
how there was like Assassin's Creed armor in Metal Gear Solid 4. They did like a bit of cross cross-platform jiggery pokery.
There's also like Zelda armor, I think, like for Link in Skyrim in the Switch launch.
Oh shit, cool.
I didn't know that.
I completely forgot that it was on the Switch.
So that's something. It's on everything, Alice.
It just keeps on getting released. It's going to be on my mobile next.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty
it's.
much.
I mean, it's still not dead.
It's gonna be on your Etch-a-Sketch.
On my calculator.
Yeah. Skyrim for Texas Instruments.
On my little MP3 player.
Oh.
Pretty much.
Well, I still play it, or I test it, cause mods.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you become a mod author, you stop playing the game. You just make the mods.
You just test
Yeah.
it for eternity.
Yeah.
An endless cycle of modding and bugging and fixing.
Yes.
And it consumes your entire life. I don't know. I don't do modding.
But it's so rewarding. Like, was it yesterday that you taught me how to fix my writing spell thing, Chris?
Oh yes, I think it was
Yes. And I got it to work.
Days all blur together.
Yes, but I got it to work. Something slightly more advanced than quest dialogue. And I was so excited. I felt euphoric. It was great. I understand why people mod now, because, when something works, it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's like drugs.
Yes.
But with
Just like
computers.
drugs, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I'm so happy.
Probably cheaper as well. More time consuming maybe, but definitely cheaper.
Yeah, well,
I mean, modding's free.
it is. You just need to download the creation kit and ready to go.
And you might even get paid for it if you get into the Creation Club. But yeah, I think that might be something that we might see more of. Other companies, not just modders making stuff for the Creation Club, but other companies. Like,
Yeah.
Again, I think this is in-house because Doom is owned by Bethesda, but yeah, never know. I also want to mention that in Modcast, one of the things we talked about was like the size of the Creation Club mods would be limited by the format.
Yeah.
Bethesda released a statement where they were saying that that's not the case because they're actually going to have some Creation Club content come out as ESMs instead of ESLs, because ESL format is what like limits the size of the mod. So according to Pete Hines, there might actually be like some bigger, more extensive mods on the club. in the future, so.
Okay, so one of your mods has a chance, basically?
No. I am not part of the Creation Club.
Okay.
But there are other talented modders who are, so might be something exciting coming on. I don't know.
Ooh.
Hey. We'll see.
Something
exciting this way comes.
Something more than green tits on a chest plate.
Yeah, I mean, that armor isn't even all that good looking, to be honest, but...
It looks better on the female's side than the male's.
It does.
I don't know. I like the ab window.
And also the little...
I appreciate that it's the same across
Yeah,
both
and
of them.
the
It
rip
looks-
on the inner thigh there, that's very
Yeah.
hot.
But if you're a Doom fan, I'm sure it looks good.
I'm sure, yeah.
For me, it looks like something from Star Wars a little bit on the left. Like one of the bounty hunters.
Yeah, I can see that.
Boba
Yeah.
Or a
Fett.
member of Daft Punk.
Yeah.
No, it looks like the helmet Princess Leia was wearing when she was like in Return of the
I
Jedi.
can see that.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I haven't seen the Star Wars, like the original trilogy in like years.
Same here, but
I should probably get back to that. Because I'm really enjoying the new
the
stuff.
new stuff is pretty good.
I've been going VIP to go watch them. It is just like the best experience ever. You get like loads of free
Oh my
popcorn
gosh.
and loads of like free food beforehand. You get unlimited drinks. And then you go in and you're in a seat that's like a fucking couch. So I just brought a blanket with me because I'm an idiot. And it's like watching in your own home but with decent picture quality.
That sounds
and sound.
amazing.
It's
We have
fantastic.
nothing like that here. Because I don't know if you know, but I live on a tiny island. We have one movie theater here, and it's one room.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
Yeah, not quite. Can you smuggle food in
Yeah,
though?
probably.
Just like bring a chicken in your handbag.
I should do that. I mean, they do sell
An
food.
entire chicken.
An entire grilled chicken.
Just a grill.
I wonder how that would smell.
Alice is in the theater cooking up some steaks.
Bring in the
Why
microwave.
not? That's a good idea. I'll do that next time.
I mean, theatre food is expensive.
Well, yeah, that's how they make their money. Like, they don't get a single dollar from the box office receipts. That goes all to the filmmakers. Like, everything they make is off concessions. You're like, well, I don't give a shit.
Denying them. I don't give a shit. I have many a fun childhood memory of sneaking into the cinema. Well, not sneaking in, but like going into the cinema with like a bag full of like party rings and crisps and Coke, and it was just fantastic. I didn't have a lot of money as a teenager. Me neither. So we just raid Poundland before and just smuggle it all in. It was great.
You're supposed to just go in and not eat. See, that would be the honest way of doing things.
I don't know. Is it not allowed to bring your own snacks to the movie theater there?
I don't think so.
I think you're not allowed to bring hot food in.
Like, how else would they survive if they didn't sell food? Like, I don't.
They don't search your bags.
It's perfectly acceptable here to bring. I mean, hot food. I don't know. I haven't tried, but you know, if you go to the store and buy your own candy there and bring it, it's perfectly fine. Nobody's gonna give you trouble for that.
So long as you're not, like, super obvious about it, like, waving it in front of the concession sign, like, haha, beat bitch!
I bought this elsewhere!
Fuck you guys!
So moving on. There's no good way to segue from that.
Okay, sorry.
Defenders?
So, speaking of breaking the law, perhaps...
Oh, yeah, there we go. Speaking of... white privilege. Defenders. Episode 6. Did you watch it, Ronja?
No. I'll be honest.
So you could just ride.
I don't really enjoy the show all that much. It kind of bored me after those first 4 episodes.
But there was a twist in this episode.
Killjoy.
Oh my gosh, go ahead, spoil it all.
An actual, honest to God's twist.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So first thing that happens is they decide that Iron Fist, because he's the one that the hand wants for some mysterious reason, they decide to tie him up. just I don't know.
Wait, the good guys decide to tie him up? Why?
Yeah. Because he wants to run off and do everything by himself, and they're like, no, we need to keep you safe.
No, it makes no sense to me. Like, he would be safer if he was untied and they just all stuck together.
Stuck together, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of keeping him in an abandoned basement, which I'm assuming that people already know about.
Yeah, and then and the weirdest thing is, like, okay, Luke Cage, he's supposed to be the conscience of the show. So far he's the one who cares about other people, and he's like the guy who was like put in prison, and you know, he's like fighting for people who are wrongly imprisoned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's like on board with it. I'm like, what are you doing?
This is literally the opposite of what your character is.
Yeah.
That's so strange. Where are they going with this whole thing?
I don't know. They decide to tie him up in a neatly wrapped present for the hand, I guess.
Yeah, okay, then, right. For drama.
The next thing they do is they split up.
Of course.
Because you know what's great when someone is pursuing one of the members of your team is to split up and leave only one other person able to fight. Why?
While he's tied up, so he's like a neatly wrapped present, like Chris just said. Oh yeah, great idea, so clever.
They should have just put a bow on him. It would have really, and a little gift tag saying, "To the hand, love from the Defenders, kiss, 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 XOXO."
Exactly, perfect. But I mean, these characters are supposed to be really smart. I mean, it sounds like they've dumbed down all of them for this series really bad.
Well, Jessica Jones is my area of expertise in this show because it's the only one that I've watched.
Same.
But yeah, they've definitely dumbed down what I've experienced of Jessica anyway.
Yeah, same. I thought, why is she so quiet? She's not saying a whole lot. She's just complaining.
She's literally the best part about the show.
Well, she's the cynical one. She calls everybody out on like why are you wearing this stupid costume, or like, you know, stuff like that.
She's the audience surrogate.
Yeah. She's the one who cringes every time the Iron Fist talks about his mortal Iron Fist.
Oh my god.
Oh, that character is so stupid. Why did they include him? Come on.
I don't know. Why? Well, at least they tied him up. This episode. It was a dumb move strategically.
They could have gagged him as well.
Yeah. Ah, that's true. They didn't gag him.
They missed a trip there.
So then Jessica and Matt go investigating. They're trying to figure out like what the hand wants. They go to that victim's daughter's house, I guess, and then there's that whole scene with the Matt playing the piano to find the secret map inside. And
of course, he fucking.
I just thought it was funny because that's another cliche that blind people they have super hearing and they can play the piano.
Well, I guess that's one of the instruments they might actually be able to play because you can feel which keys you're currently pressing, but with a stringed instrument like with a harp you can't really do that because the strings all feel the same or something.
Musical expertise.
We're getting a different angle on our salt.
Oh, yeah. But it's funny because like he's like, it's this key, right? It's like the F key or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then like you'd think that there was a map rolled up right where the key is.
And no, it's just like spread out.
What?
It's just lying there. It's just like one big map. Like you could have pressed any key and it would have made contact.
And he did. He pressed many keys.
Yes. He might have just went, up and down.
Yeah. And just be like, oh, this chord sounds so weird.
Yeah. He's just like using his hands and just slapping it. He's like, oh, look how weird this sounds.
I think there's something here, guys. Can you take a look? Oh my gosh, this series.
Yeah. And then Jessica opens it up and he's like, oh my god, there's this huge map. It's covering the whole piano. Yeah.
Not just the F key.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh my god.
Press F to find the map.
Yes. He was also paying his respects to the girl's father. Okay, don't be insensitive, Alice.
Okay. Press F. I would, but I'd probably fuck up the recording, so.
The one character that's been consistent is Stick. He actually tries to like kill the Iron Fist because the Iron Fist, he's whatever the hand wants, whatever the hand needs, he's like the key, right?
Yeah.
So Stick is like, okay, why are we wasting time kidnapping him, or tying him up? We should just kill him and be done with it.
Stick is the other blind guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's also stupid because, you're just killing a dude without even knowing why. It's a kind of evil in a sense, but at least it's sort of consistent with his character. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess he was, if I remember correctly, he was a bit of an asshole in the Daredevil series as well.
Yeah. He's like one of those guys who are, I don't know what the word is. He's like super practical.
Morally gray?
Like by any means necessary. Yeah. What's the thing on the D&D chart? It's like chaotic good or no?
True neutral.
Yeah, I was also thinking
lawful neutral.
He's good though. He's like on the side of good, but he's willing to kill.
Chaotic good then, yeah.
Yeah.
Chaotic good.
I guess you could say that his characterization sticks.
But
Get out.
I'm booting you from the channel right now. But yeah, and then the one part that is stupid, I mean, he's doing everything practical, doing everything smart. You think he's the one smart character. But then before he kills Danny, he just stops and like goes on this like long speech.
Of course he does. It's a superhero series.
Yeah. So obviously during this speech, it gives Elektra enough time to infiltrate the base, which is now completely empty of superheroes, and like beat up Stick and kidnap Danny, who's conveniently tied up.
Okay.
Like a present.
Is Elektra still working for the Hand?
There was a bit of discontent within the Hand regarding Elektra.
Okay. But
so they were like, yeah, we really don't like her.
Poor Elektra.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, because they wasted all their immortality juice on her.
That shit's expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know how much a smoothie costs? It's like the cost of 2 smoothies at least.
Oh my god.
I know.
And she doesn't even listen to their commands.
Like, she just does her own thing. She wanders around, finds her old grave, just
falls in love.
Doesn't do anything that they tell her to do.
I know. Useless.
And then, to top it all off, she goes and stabs Sigourney Weaver in the back. Literally.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver tells Elektra to kill like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones and that other guy, and then she gets really upset. She's like, "That's Matthew. He has a name," and then she stabs him.
She remembers him now. Nice.
She
Good
even
job,
remembers
Alexa.
her own name.
Well done. But why is she still doing their bidding? Can't she?
No, they're doing her bidding now. She's in charge.
She was like, "Yo, I'm in charge now, bitch." Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my name's Electra. That was basically how the final scene went.
Okay.
So why do you think she did that? Besides, like, Matthew.
I don't know.
Really can't say.
No, because she can't be together with Daredevil if she's in charge of the Hand. Like, he's not going to be down with that.
Well,
I think why she did it was because they didn't have enough money to have Sigourney Weaver on for more than 6 episodes.
probably.
That's just my personal
That's the real
opinion.
twist. They didn't blow their budget on Elektra's immortality juice. They blew it on Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see it coming because it kind of seeded the idea that she would betray them in order to reconcile with Matt. But that's clearly not going to happen now.
Well, I mean, if she's in love with Matt, why would she? I mean, isn't that kind of counterproductive to go against him?
Yeah,
Eh?
I don't know.
Maybe that's her idea of flirting. Like, okay, maybe if I do like the worst thing possible, he'll think I'm like sexy and cool. And
Is that how you flirt?
yeah, I like to
My
kidnap
crush's friends
my
and
crushes, like
Tie him up.
friends and relatives, and
Join their enemies.
yeah, exactly, and make these huge underground companies.
I mean, it's just the ultimate tsundere, isn't it?
There is one motivation that makes sense. The fact that there's a limited amount of immortality juice, right? So if the Iron Fist is the key to getting more, the more of the people you kill, the more of the Hand you kill, the more you get for yourself. That's sort of consistent with Elektra.
Yeah, and then she could give it to Matt, and she can be like, "Look, I know I kind of fucked everything up, and I killed all your friends, but look, immortality juice.
Yeah.
just for you.
Love
Be a
you."
zombie, just like me.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of zombie love on television lately.
Yeah.
that's weird. Okay, but hold on. Is she killing the Hand? But she's leading the Hand. Then she's not killing
No,
them.
she killed Sigourney Weaver. She's the new Thumb.
Oh, okay. She's the new Thumb.
Yes. Because the Thumb is the leader of the Hand, right? It has to be the Thumb.
I guess.
You know what? This would be just such a more interesting show if instead of the Hand, it was the Black Hand. As in, they made the show about the Dark Brotherhood. Just saying.
Yeah, the Dark Brotherhood is actually kind of cool.
The crossover between Marvel and the Elder Scrolls that we've all been asking for. We didn't know we wanted it until we just suggested it right now.
Well, she could be leader of both, just like the Dragonborn.
That's one thing. Is it okay if I kind of go off on a tangent here about something I've been considering and thinking about?
Go for it.
Yeah, it's okay. The Dragonborn can join all these different things, and several of them have the Dragonborn promise their soul to some Daedric prince or whatever after they die. But if he's promised it to several different... What happens to him when he dies?
It just gets passed around. They all get custody. It's like having a really, really broken home. So they're just like, right, you go to Sanguine on Mondays, on Mondas. You go to Mairon's Dagon at the weekends. And every other Thursday, that goes to Sheogorath. And listen, we know that it's really hard on you going to this home, but you pledged your soul to all of us, you idiot.
Yes, and the Nightingales, you have to go protect the Twilight Sepulchre, and with the companions, you have to go to the Eternal Hunting Grounds, and...
Oh, sounds like the season 1 of Iron Fist, actually. He doesn't protect Kunlun or whatever. He's supposed to stay there forever and protect it, but maybe he pledged his soul to somebody else. Maybe he pledged his soul to Mairon's Dagon, and that's why he was on Earth. It makes sense now. It all ties together.
So it's actually like a crossover, but...
Yeah.
It's
we
a
never
secret
know,
crossover that nobody realizes just yet. They're actually seeding it really, really well. It's just that we can't appreciate it because we're just seeing really awkward Iron Fist.
Just wait till season 2 when Ulfric shows up. It's gonna be lit.
You know what? So long as it doesn't delay Jessica Jones season 2, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yes. I need me some more Jessica, and not in the Defenders because she's
watered down. It's like diluting your vodka. Awful.
Yes.
Just
horrible.
awful.
It's a crime.
All right, moving on. Last bit of the day. Since Alice is too cool to talk about Star Trek, we got a special guest, Unoctium. Talk about Star Trek Discovery.
Yo, so yes, I
welcome.
I used to be a Star Trek fan long ago, but I've kind of dropped off a little bit. But so I didn't really see this series coming.
Yeah, I didn't even know until last night. That's how casual of Star Trek fan I am.
Yeah, for me it was like a couple of weeks ago when everyone was saying, "Oh, it's going to be the worst thing ever." Oh. I saw the trailers and I'm like, "Oh, this looks kind of interesting." And then I watched it, and my sort of TLDR review is it's not that bad.
Yeah, I liked it. The first thing that I didn't realize when watching it, but I kind of found out afterwards, is it's a prequel to the original Star Wars. And not only is it a prequel, but it's starring Spock's like hot Nubian stepsister.
Yes.
which he never mentioned before. That's pretty crazy to me. Like I didn't realize that, but like I guess the name's Sarek didn't like register a bell, but it's Spock's dad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind things like that. I mean, people, all the fans complain about, oh, this didn't happen, or this contradicts with that piece of information. I'm just like, they changed it with the films, they changed it with this, so what?
Yeah, just roll with it. I mean, there's a good reason why he probably didn't mention his hot sister, because, I mean, it's obvious. He's best friends with Kirk.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If you were best friends with Captain Kirk, would you mention your sister?
No, definitely not. No. So that's a good point.
No. Yeah. Stay the fuck away.
To be fair, watching this series, Spock's probably afraid his sister will murder Kirk, based on how much violence she causes and geopolitical instability.
Yeah, she's pretty badass. She's just like a storm, just going everywhere, which is kind of like the opposite of her Vulcan upbringing.
Yes,
I mean, there's like a pretty big contrast with Spock and with most Vulcans, I guess, because of the fact that she's so emotional.
Well, Vulcans are, I think they're emotional. I mean, they're meant to be more emotional than humans. That's why logic is so important to them, because they need.
Yeah, they originated as a warfaring species.
Yeah, right? Definitely. They used to be like really warlike, and now they're just because they need logic so much. Is because they're even more emotional than humans. But generally, like that kind of makes them kind of boring-ish characters because it isn't plausible for your Vulcan character to have another dimension than his logic. So generally, but to be fair, like
they're basically walking calculators.
Yeah, I think on the other hand, Spock's like one of the most interesting characters. But this character, who's like a human, raised in Vulcan, I mean, she's really interesting because on one hand she's got this logical side, but on the other hand she's got this really emotional, unstable side. But it's not the kind of boring, oh, I'm a child of two worlds type thing. It's kind of like, on one hand she's logical and loyal, but on the other hand she's starting wars with everyone.
Yeah. How well do you think they did that? Because like I'm a big nurture over nature person, so usually your upbringing kind of influences the person you are as an adult, your upbringing as a child or whatnot. She's actually had both, like a very traumatic experience, like a very traumatic human emotional experience, and she's also been raised in this whole Vulcan culture, this bubble, right? So then we see like two sides of her when she first gets introduced to Michelle Yeoh, the captain. I don't know her name.
Giorgio or something.
Yeah, but when she first gets introduced, she's got the whole Vulcan like Asian bowl haircut. She's totally like logical. But then in 7 years' time, she's completely like she's got the like I mean, still close cropped hair, but it's definitely not Vulcan hair. And she's like just as human as the rest of the crew, right? She doesn't really strike you as Vulcan until they actually tell you. So
when she was introduced to the captain, that's kind of her adolescent appearance, you know what I mean? Like when she's acting all logical, she's like kind of got her parents' identity, and then when she sort of appears on the ship, she's like, oh, she's kind of defensive with her Vulcan persona, and then she develops a relationship with this captain, becomes a lot more human, a lot more volatile, and
how do you think that transition compares? Like, because Spock spent a lot of time around humans too, right? But he never really changed much. I mean, he did. He showed more emotion. Like, him and Jim became really good friends and stuff. But it was never like this, where he was like openly emotional, right?
Well, she's not a Vulcan. She's a human. So, like, obviously,
Right.
she's kind of pretending to be a Vulcan. She's not got their. She can never have their quote unquote discipline to be logical.
Is that part of their DNA though? Because before they were like we were talking about, a warfaring species. Before they were emotional. So
I think that's a good point, but I do wonder if the writers know that, because like it does give this implication that she can never be as Vulcan as the Vulcans.
Yeah.
But she's able to do a good passing impression of them.
Mm.
And then like Sarek says, "Oh, it's time for you to go with your normal species and stuff like that." So yeah. I did get the impression, but you're right. I think like a human could probably be as logical as a Vulcan, because it's the same treatment for an emotional self. Yeah.
The one out that she does have is the traumatic childhood experience. Like, they did show an example of, even though that she was brought up in this nurturing Vulcan culture, she was still showing signs of just being human and being more emotional or whatever. So, I mean, they do have like an out. It's not like she was raised in the exact same environment as Spock, and then somehow she's more emotional because she's human. I mean, there are some experiences that may have led to the way she is, but it is a stark contrast on how most Vulcans that integrate into human society act. Because she's like an absolute storm. She's more emotional than the humans on the show.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I think that's just because she doesn't have a home. And I guess what I got the impression of, that, when she lost her parents or whatever, and she was adopted by Sarek, she just seems like a person that doesn't have a home, and that's why her home is with the captain, or her home is with Sarek, and she gets spoilers, arrested at the end of the show. She's kind of homeless, and I kind of what's the word? A kind of runaway, or like a what would be the term?
Exile? I don't know.
Like a juvenile delinquent, kind of,
A refugee?
No, like a delinquent, just...
Yeah.
Never finding her place. I think that's what makes her kind of interesting, because she's a kind of delinquent, which is a big change from the other characters in previous
I don't
series.
know if this is going to be like the way it's going to be the rest of the show, but she's also intellectually on another plane, like, than the rest of them, like, because she was right on almost every decision, right?
Yeah.
And then the funniest scene for me was when she was even arguing with the computer. Like, she had to like logically convince the computer of the right course of action. Like, every decision. She was right about the Klingons. She was right about them uniting to start a war. She was right about the martyr thing. And every time the people didn't listen to her, it backfired. So I feel like she was almost intellectually just smarter than everybody else, or at least had a better understanding of what was going on than everybody else, had better awareness and perception. And that too kind of ostracized
She
her.
kind of lost me at the end of the first episode with the firing on the Klingons thing. Up until that point, I was like, you didn't really know, you fully empathized with her, and she was the sort of center of the show. But the moment she started saying, to all the crew, fire on the Klingons, and the captain is like, not only is that like the wrong thing to do, we'd like lose in 5 seconds.
If it was real life, I would totally agree, and firing first is a dumb move. But it's almost kind of like a paranormal show. Normally, in real life, the people who see ghosts are the crazy people and everyone else is sane. But in a paranormal show, it's backwards.
Yeah.
The people who see ghosts are the sane people, and everyone else is too stubborn to listen. So I kind of felt the opposite. I get that it was a dumb move to shoot first, but in the context of the show, I actually agreed with Commander Burnham.
Well, in the logic, it kind of defies the logic of her plan, defied the logic of the show, because while Sarek said, there's this doctrine from the past the Vulcans use, that they basically fire on the Klingons with full force, basically just to deter them. The fact that the main villain wanted to die effectively, that he basically had this plan to die, kind of undermined the fact that he wasn't going to get deterred, he was going to die in that solar system, wherever, to start his big war.
That's true. So what you're saying, even if they listened to her, it wouldn't have worked out. It would have just made things worse.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. It's not like Game of Thrones where you're just like, I hate this show now. it's more like, it's a little bit of logic, but I'm enjoying it. So. Yeah. I did like the fact that the Vulcans had a historical punch-in Nazi doctrine. They thought it best just to fire in the Klingons, because Like in the last series, there was like the series that, you know, because they keep changing the series because of all these prequels, but the series they can't ignore was the last one, which people kind of are a little bit more fond of, but I kind of still like, that was really boring and I hated it. Called Enterprise, where the Vulcans were this kind of superpower, and they were just the most boring species ever. And like the fact that a guy said one line where the Vulcans basically were meant to be this logical species, but the fact that they always fire on the Klingons when they saw them. I mean, that's like, if you think about it, it's like, that's not Vulcan, but it's also really logical. Yeah.
It's logical, but it's also just, it doesn't make sense for a culture to actually use that as a hello. Like if you imagine meeting like a tribe of a lost tribe or something, and their way of saying hello was like to punch each other in the balls or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think the Vulcans, I think he said, the Vulcans tried to make peace at first, but the Klingons basically just massacred them. And then immediately after first contact, the Vulcans, up until they established some sort of guaranteed peace, they just like let havoc on the Klingons, and that kept them at bay. Where during these 2 episodes, the Federation tried to make peace with the Klingons 5 times. You know, kept communicating with them and saying, "Time for peace," and the Klingons are like, "Yeah," and then ram a cloak ship into the flagship.
What did you think of the Klingon change? Because that was probably a big controversy.
Just
like
I didn't mind it. It's been so long since we last saw a Klingon. You know, what was it, 2000 or something? So.
Yeah, I don't know like how they've transitioned from like the previous iteration. The last Klingon I saw was Worf from Star Trek: The Next Generation, so it was a bit of a shock. I didn't realize they were Klingons until they said they were Klingons.
I'm ready to. I'm like with every like new thing. Like I'm ready to admit that things will change shape. Like things will, depending on the theme of the media.
Yeah, things
will look differently. I mean, it's better to change the look of things, rather than keep some sort of consistency and have the whole thing feel and weird, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's definitely good to take risks. I do think they kind of look like orcs from Lord of the Rings. I thought for a second, like, when Commander Burnham was trapped in that jail, like, the Eagles were going to come out and save her because we were in Middle-earth. The other weird thing, nitpick, or I find strange, was her name is Michael.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I was like,
I've never known Michael to be a non-gendered name. It's always been a male name. It's a weird choice. I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll expand on it later. I don't know.
Maybe it is.
I mean, my first thought was that they were originally planning to cast a male, and they switched it up at the end. But if you switch it up at the end, you could just change the name to like Michelle or something.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the name in like the TV guide or whatever, I thought, it must be a different way of saying Michelle, and it's like, and then the character started saying, "Hey, Michael," and I'm like, "Okay, no."
Like, "Hey, Mike."
Yeah, hey, Mike.
Just name her Bob or some shit. Yeah, like for the recent like quest I made for the mod, like, you know, just to tie into modding and stuff, because that's what we do. I will pick a name based on what the player can say sometimes. You know, it's like, even though I want to name her something else, because the player can only say a set number of names, like in one of the quests recently, I named an NPC Darcy because the player says Darcy Pembroke's name, right, in Fallout 4. So, I mean, maybe there was something like that going on. I don't know. Maybe they already recorded the lines for one of the characters and one of them said Michael. And so now that's canon.
Yeah, I felt there was a lot of dubbing going on, but again, it didn't. Like, I heard the show has, like, when I looked back, it had a lot of difficulties getting made and things like that. So, I mean, they did pretty well for a show that kept getting rebooted, like, 6 times. I mean, compare that to, like, Mass Effect Andromeda, which apparently got rebooted 10 times over in shows. Where with this, it's like, oh, this is good stuff. But I thought, what else? I quite like the CGI. I mean, part of it, the reason why it wasn't boring is because the CGI just, like, grabs you.
Oh, right from the beginning. The desert world and all those like pods and shit.
Yeah.
And then just like they're like fucking on the bridge, like the computer screen is just, it was really good.
Ironically, like, spaceship battle scenes were probably the least impressive part.
Yeah.
I like the scene. What was when the Europa got destroyed?
Oh yeah.
I liked the fact that when the Admiral was in this holographic form, instead of showing the Europa being destroyed, his hologram glitched. Yeah. So it was him bouncing in different places.
Yeah.
Because
that was nice.
Yeah, so he was gripping the rail one time and then falling over this, and I was like, wow, that's probably more effective than seeing the ship, you know, get blown to pieces.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. What about the crew? Like there was there was like a toaster face character, wasn't there? It was just like one.
Yeah, there was like Deadmau5 and
Daft Punk or something was
Daft Punk, yeah.
trolling the ship. And then there was the other really, really tall alien.
That was like Doug Jones, yeah.
Is that like an alien that's been in previous Star Treks? I don't know.
Oh no, I think he's completely new.
Oh,
but
nice.
he's played all these puppet characters in Guillermo del Toro films, and he played.
Yeah, it looked like a Guillermo del Toro, like demon.
He played that Aquaman guy in Hellboy too, the Aqua guy, and I can't remember what else he played, but he's quite a famous sort of tall actor.
Yeah, I like the banter between him and Michael.
Yeah, I mean, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, the dialogue feels a bit weird.
Oh, it was a little bit much, yeah. Like, when everybody's witty, it's like, and they're hitting you with zinger after zinger after zinger. Sometimes that gets a little much.
Yeah, I was prepared for it to be really dumb. Like, at the first 20 minutes when they basically, I'll go in a spacesuit, and I'll go into the heavily radioactive area, without any immediacy involved. I thought, oh, this is going to be really stupid. But no, it really improved after that. But I did think like the first few scenes were just kind of like, because like one of my favorite Star Trek series is Deep Space Nine, which I felt like is a far more like quite a thoughtful, deep series. Because the people who wrote that went on to write Battlestar Galactica. So
I like that
they have, and then they wrote Outlander, and so like I like that series. It seems like a thoughtful series, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really like dumbed down. And I'm not saying it's like it's on that level of Deep Space Nine yet. It still feels a little bit quote unquote arcadey.
Yeah.
But I still quite like it.
Yeah, it definitely felt more like, I don't want to say dumbed down, but more action based. But I mean, this particular conflict is with the Klingons, and they're just like grunting barbarians. So it's a little bit different than if you're landing on a planet and there's just kind of like intellectual puzzles to like solve and stuff like that, and intellectual conflicts and drama. With the Klingons, it's usually it's more action based anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and so
it's definitely like Next Generation where like the plot like took place in two rooms, with some intense moral question.
But the good part about that is that instead of focusing on the exploration and the villains, they could focus on the characters. I don't know. It seems like that's what they're going to do. They're going to focus on Michael Burnham's, just her internal conflict, I guess, like dealing with the Klingons and dealing with just like her emotions and stuff like that. So
yeah, the characters seem interesting because I remember watching it and thinking, oh, that was a good 2 episodes. But I think I remember feeling this way once with the Enterprise. It had a 2-hour pilot and had a good 2-hour action pilot, which was engaging. But then it became like the most boring show on earth. But I remember why it became the most boring show on earth, because the characters were so boring. Like they were just like the most dull. Like one character description was, oh, he's a British tactical officer, and but at the same time he might like explosives, but he puts in earplugs to brace himself. And you're like, oh my god. And then there was like another character called Travis, who's basically the pilot of the ship, and his entire character premise was basically he came from like a trader vessel or something, and so he basically apparently knows more about space than the rest of the crew, but like that never actually came in. But the ship was the fastest ship that the Starfleet or whatever had built, so by the 3rd episode they had gone further than he had gone now. So he became useless. And it was like they're just so boring. Where with this series,
plus they're in the future, right? Any kind of knowledge should already be on like space Wikipedia anyway, right?
Yeah. Well, like, apparently, like he would say, oh, these are the something alien race, but like by the 3rd episode they had already gone like further than he'd been. So it was like
they're starting to encounter new.
But the difference in this series is the fact that all the characters seem interesting, and if they have a boring character, they just kill them. So. They're just like, that character's boring, kill them, so.
Yeah, there was one that was pretty much fit that bill that got jettisoned off into space, like when he went down to the brig. Yeah. I don't even know his name. It's generic red shirt guy.
Pretty much. So if you have a smiling red shirt that probably looks the same as a crewman you saw before, he's going to die. And I kind of like that, because before red shirt used to be a cliche, but now it's like, oh, this is like, because on the Enterprise, like apparently no one ever died on the Enterprise. So the fact of seeing people regularly bite the dust in the series is like, yeah, please die.
So all in all, thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep watching.
Yep.
Any other thoughts?
Well, nothing. Otherwise, I look forward to the rest of the series.
All right, cool. And you want to come on again for next week?
Yeah, man.
Sweet. And that's it for Star Trek discussion this week. Back to our regular schedule programming. Yeah. So we've talked for about
43 minutes.
Anything else?
Yeah, boy.
You guys want to add, plug?
My dog just pooped on the floor.
Good enough. So that's it for this episode of Lore Friendly. See you next week.
On that bombshell.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
I mean, what am I worth now?
Not the tits, Alice.
I know.
Not the money makers.
That's literally the only thing that I'm good for, and now you've ruined my entire life.
Really? Is that what's been doing the voice acting this entire time? It's the tits?
Yeah, I just hold up the mic to my tits and they do their thing.
Wobble, wobble.
Wob, 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 wob. Oh, I've never spoken
Go,
to
my son.
Ronja before. I've never spoken to her before properly. It's going to be so interesting.
Yeah.
Meeting new people.
Yeah.
I'm going to be absolutely done with meeting new people by the end of this week.
It's kind of like whatchamacallit, like in the RPG when the two characters who haven't met yet met.
Yeah.
They've been playing prominent roles in the story.
It's going to be... It's like the convergence of... We are the 6th season of Game of Thrones now.
Yes.
That's not a good thing.
It's like Daenerys and Jon meeting for the first time. I'm just so excited.
I don't want to be either of them.
All the main characters are finally coming together. No, see, that's why you need to record, because this is all good banter. You need to record the moment you get on.
You could just do what Chris does and just record it afterwards.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks.
Yes,
Makes
like,
himself
oh,
sound more clever.
Hello, nice to
I
meet
do.
you.
I do that all the time. You think Alice is kidding, but she's being totally serious.
I'll like get messages in the middle of the night and it's just like, oh, so this joke completely went over my head. Better react to it.
Okay. so you make a reaction to the joke afterwards?
Yeah, because he just doesn't realize it
That's
flies over his head.
adorable.
Bless him.
That's absolutely adorable.
This podcast is going to be so hard on you, Chris.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll like Alice will say something, but I'm not like completely listening. So then like when I listen to it the second time, it's really funny. I'm like, oh, I should have laughed here, and then I'll just go like, because otherwise it's just dead air and it gets really awkward. Like if nobody laughs, so then like there has to be like a laugh track. So I really do. So I apologize in advance if you make a funny
It's
joke.
okay.
And I don't listen to it.
I trust Alice to laugh if I make any funny jokes this podcast.
Okay.